very good afternoon, everyone. Let us start the class with the attendance in the beginning as we do. Asta Khandelwal, Abhigyan, Aditya, Ankit, Arpan, Ashutosh, Ayush Bothra, Ishpreet Singh, Navya Singh, Neha Singh, Priyanshi, Sambhav, Sanya, Sarvansh, Saurabh Yadav, Shreya, Tushar, Vanshika and Vatsal. So let us start the class. So today's topic is officer in default. So I would request Shreya to take it up further, and Shreya and her team to take it up further. So Shreya, you may please continue. I am making you the presenter. Okay. So
okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Making all three of you presenters. Okay. And Shreya, you have to keep on asking questions, right? To all
yes, sir.
the students, just in order to ensure that they are participating in the class. Who is the another one? Jamima and
Vanshika, sir.
Vanshika. Yes, Vanshika is also joined. Fine. Three of you are now presenters. Now you can just share your screen and proceed further with the rest of the things. Yeah. Start. Shreya, who will be presenting, you, Jamima or Vanshika?
Sir, I am presenting, sir.
Okay. So you know how to share the screen and all?
But one minute, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Saurabh.
Sir, I just want to need your help. आपने जो टॉपिकल असाइन किया था वो टॉपिक आपकी पीडीएफ में नहीं है.
It's okay. तभी मैंने assign किया था.
Sir, but then we need to use Google for that content. Would that be okay?
Go ahead. But just mind it that it should be for this 2013.
Okay, sir.
Companies Act 2013. Right. Don't go in so deep that it could not be finished in one class. Means you have limited time to just go for it. Okay, one class you have to, in 45 minutes you have to wind it up. So you have to touch up the basics. Okay. And I will always be there while you will be presenting. If you skip something, then I'm there to just tell about it. Okay. Fine, Saurabh?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Shreya, everyone is waiting to see the presentation.
Sir, 1 minute, it's loading, sir.
Loading where? On your WhatsApp, you are loading it over.
Laptop. I don't know what's happening.
You should have actually downloaded it before you were to present, na? Shreya?
I've downloaded, sir, but I don't know, some network issues happening now. So now is it visible?
Yeah, it is uploading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is visible now. You can make it full
Okay.
screen and go with the presentation. Even you can just put it half screen also so that you can make it. Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, all. The term officer in default has been defined under Section 2, Subsection 60 of the Companies Act 2013, and it came into force on 12th September 2013. The term default means doing something which isn't reasonably expected to be done or not doing anything which ought to be done in normal circumstances. This presentation will deal with the broadened scope of officer in default in the first part, and in the second part will deal with the prosecution procedures of such officers. Moreover, how managing directors can also qualify to such provisions will also be dealt with. Lastly, we'll analyze two case laws and the current position of law on the topic of officer in default. So these are the overview of this presentation. Our hypothesis is to make you all to understand who is an officer in default, who can be the officer in default, and why the officer in default is being appointed in a company, and its provisions and prosecutions of such officers. So for the definition part, I would like to welcome Vanshika.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon, Vanshika. So something is expected from you, Vanshika, is that first of all you define what is default, who is a defaulter, okay, and then accordingly just relate it with the definition given over here, and then proceed further. Because whenever we listen about default, it is something some fault has happened. Is it so, or something else is there in this officer in default, right? So just
Yes,
start with
sir.
the generic meaning and then relate it with what is given in the definition. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So who is an officer? Anyone who knows who's an officer, anyone can give a try.
I'm saying who participates.
Okay. So in
No,
section
Vanshika,
2 of
just
59.
call someone. You just call someone to define it. You can call anyone among us these to define who is officer in default. Or they can just at least define what is default. Please invite them, involve them. They will not raise their hands and come over. Okay, you have to make them. There are a few people in your class and most of them are the leaders now. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So anyone wants to say anything, or should I just take names?
You have to take names.
Okay, sir. So Tushar, you want to say something about officer or anything on the default part?
You are having right to just remove them from the class if they do not answer. Okay, I will do that. Tushar. Tushar, are you there? Yes. So, what do you mean by default? So, it is your fault if you will not say anything about default. I am going to kick you out of the class then. Would that be okay? Tushar? Okay, Vanshika, you tell what is it.
So default is anything.
Anyway,
Yes, sir.
Tushar is having some network problem. Whenever question will be asked, you will see that there is the network problem instantly starts. No problem, you continue.
Okay, so default is anything which occurs in a company where something goes wrong or some problem occurs.
Your PPT is not visible.
Sir, it's visible.
It's visible.
So is it not visible?
Okay, fine, fine. If
Sir,
it is
it's visible.
yeah, carry on.
So an officer, it's defined under section 2 of 59. An officer includes any director, manager or key managerial personnel or any person in accordance with whose directions or instructions the board of directors or any one or more of the directors is or are accustomed to act. So the officer in default is defined under section 2 of 60. An officer of the company who is in default shall be liable to any penalty or punishment by the way of imprisonment, fine, or otherwise means of any following officers of the company, namely. So if some default happens, so a officer who is in charge of that department or that thing will come under this default. So those people are whole-time directors. Key managerial personnel include CFO, CEO, CS or MDs, share transfer agents, merchants, bankers and registrars as among those who would fall under the ambit of officer in default in matters related to issue or transfer of shares. So the next is importance. The importance of officers in default are: first one, to ensure the officers act in the best interest of the company and its stakeholders; second, to perform the duties in good faith; and third, making the key officials of the company more responsible. The next is appointment of officer in default. So the officers in default are appointed by passing a board resolution, provided the person has his consent in this behalf to the board. Appointment of the same has to be informed to the registrar of companies by filing form GNL 3 with MCA within 30 days of passing this board resolution. So now Shreya will present the further topics to you.
So as of now, we came across what's the definition of the officer in default and its importance. And now it comes to the scope, because it was first drafted in the Companies Act 1956, and which was in under the section 5, which clearly states that intention of the officer needs to be established so as to show that the director was at fault. So there is a provision which is called intention. It has been stated that the director, it should be established the intention of the director that the director was at fault by the wrongful acts which were done by the company. But later on in the with the 1988 amendment to the act, the requirement of intention was dropped. The qualification to fall under section 260 has been lessened. Subclause 5, which speaks any person in accordance with whose advice, directions or instructions the board of directors of the company is accustomed to act, other than a person who gives advice to the board in a professional capacity. It shows that the people other than categorized officers, if fulfilling the requirement, then they will also be made liable for the mismanagement. So it is said that it's not only one person or a one director can be liable, but also who falls under this definition of subclause 5, they will also be fulfilling the requirements and they will also be made liable for the mismanagement. And the position has changed with the SO 2754E of 2013 by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs MCA, which has defined the scope of officer in default, which also includes the term key managerial positions, which is defined under section 251 under subclause 2 of section 260. So the position was changed after the 1988 amendment that the by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in the 2013 Act of Company. The officer in default also includes the term key managerial positions, which includes CFO, CEO, MDs, etc., which is defined under section 251 and under subclause 2 of section 260.
So any problem till here? Anyone? If you are having any confusion, you can ask now.
If you have any questions, you can ask.
Is it clear now? The position is clear, and the
So I
qualifications
just want to
also.
ask, so this key managerial position and key manager personnel are two different things.
Key managerial persons and
Key manager personnel and key managerial position are two different
Actually,
things.
what the thing is, there are key managerial positions on which key managerial persons are appointed. Okay. So if you see, it is one and the same thing only, Saurabh. Okay, actually it is regarding the person itself who will be held responsible. Okay, but who will be held responsible is the means to what extent it determines the key managerial position actually determines. Now what the thing is, what is the main purpose of this introducing this officer in default? What happens if you might appreciate this, that company is an artificial person, and when something happens, when something wrong happens, there are very sheer positions, means sheer consequences which may occur to those who are responsible, who are found responsible for it. So anyone and everyone whosoever is there, they just shed their responsibility. Oh, no, I was not responsible. No, I was not responsible. So here the officer in default will be a person who will be responsible for each and everything. Okay, that's why he is called officer in default. Means that this clause of officer in default will not let the liability of the officer, the key officers or key managerial persons. Now, who can be the responsible persons, or who can be held responsible? The directors are held responsible, but sometimes directors even act on the advice of CFO or a company secretary of the company itself. Okay, so in that case, these people, those who have given the advice, they also are equally responsible for anything which is happening in the company. Saurabh, am I clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a good question you have asked. Okay, so that's why I just stopped over here. That is there any question to be asked, because this is something to be made clear. Okay, Shreya, please continue with your presentation.
Yes, sir. So this is for your better understanding the history of being the changes happened in the Companies Act with regards to the officer in default. First, it was defined in the Companies Act 1956 under Section 5, which clearly states the intention of the officer. And the amendment to the Act came on 1988, and the requirement of intention was dropped. And finally, in the Companies Act 2013, the officer in default is defined under Section 2, subsection 60.
Now, Shreya, I would like to make clear over here is that many
Yes,
things in the Companies Act 2013 have come out of the scams which has happened between 2008 to 2012, which includes the scam of this what you call a Satyam scam is also one of them. This Vijay Mallya, who ran away with a lot of money of the banks, is also one. And there is Nirav Modi scam also. Actually, it happened afterwards, but this is also one which actually doesn't hold anyone responsible for the things which are done by the company. Okay, so the company's limited liability has been used unlimitedly, and people are
Yes.
not at all, there is no one to just held anyone responsible for it, and one or the other way, because of the loopholes of the law, they skip from their liabilities, and means law is not able to have a catch hold of them. Okay, the same things that you are discussing over here will be useful for those students who will be presenting on this corporate frauds and all. So this is the
Yes, sir.
outcome of the corporate fraud which has recently happened, right? Saurav, I hope you
Yes,
are
sir.
able to make it. Yeah, so Shreya, you have prepared a very good one. So this is how means.
Thanks.
Shreya, please keep on making others understand what you have also understood out of this, because you had a very good understanding, because we have seen the last night itself you have showed me the PPT and all everything. So you and your team are going on very very well. I congratulate you, and at a very short notice you have taken it up and you are doing very good justice to it. Okay, so you guys please keep on asking question to Shreya also, because after studying this, I hope she has at least become a expert of this particular area of company law, right? And your team also. So carry
Yes,
on.
sir. For the next topic, that is provision, I would like Jemima to carry on with that.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to present midst of you all. And today I'm going to see how to prosecute the officer in default. So I would like to ask the crowd that how would you like to prosecute the officer in default in this case? Yeah, it's open. Anyone can answer. Yeah, even my team members can. How would you like an officer in default? Somebody has committed a crime, like crime or an offense to be said in this case, and somebody is a partaker and they have a knowledge in this case is there along with it. So how would you like this person to be punished? Sir, even you can like,
In my opinion, you should put him behind the bars,
yeah.
or
So
even I
since
would say hang till death. So this is open for everyone else.
yeah, how else like as a company law student, and how would everyone like Shreya, Vanshika, what do you think? Yeah. So if no one has this thing, we would like to get to the bottom of the company law part of this. So, like, there was a case called Ravindra Nareen versus ROC Jaipur. Well, in this case, in the earlier part where Shreya explained what was the scope and the broader sense of officer in default, like who will be held responsible in such a case. So there was a question that arose that said whether an ordinary director can be subjected to this this liability when something like this arises. But then the rationale came to being that the court said that there any person is said to be liable with this um, when they are managing the affairs of the company. They will be liable for the wrongful acts. So there was a case where the chairman was held liable, where the chairman has wrongly distributed the share certificates after the process of distribution has been carried out. Excuse me just a moment. Shreya, can you change the slide?
Yeah, yeah,
Shreya?
1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, 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 yes. Now it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's no, the other one. How to prosecute the officer in default?
Yeah. Now it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the person who is managing the affairs of the company should know that what's happening within the company, and there should be a sort of due diligence that should be exercised within the what is happening in the within the company. They should have full knowledge of it. That should be considered. Shreya, can you change the this thing slide? the liability, the provision. Yeah. So in this provision part of this thing, PPT, under the normal course, when the complaint is being filed, there are some certain things that should be performed. One cannot just simply name a director and just make a complaint onto him. There should be specific uh, things that should be followed. Whether the alleged person was there in charge of the particular department or act on this specific day. And the second thing, how is the director specifically liable? There must be a clear allegation as to how all the partners are in charge of and responsible for the conduct of the business of the company. And the particular officer who is being named should have proof that there should be a clear description, and there are also allegations that the offense was committed in with their knowledge, and they had exercised due diligence to prevent the commission of such an offense. If the person making complaints fails or forgets to mention the officer against whom he was making the allegation, the court won't take take it against the director. There should be specific details regarding the director, which cannot be done otherwise. There should be the director's responsibilities, and the whatever they manage should be clearly specified. Again, yeah. Can you change to the case law, Shreya? Shreya?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would like.
Jamima, please go on the previous slide.
Yeah.
Shreya?
Can you go back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what everyone has understood about officer in default, see, the onus of proof actually is the most important thing which you have to take, right? So whether the person alleged was in charge of a particular department direct or not on a specified day is very, very important. And previously what used to happen, everyone and anyone whosoever was, because the provisions of the Companies Act were quite so vague about the decision of taking the cognizance of officer in default. Okay, so they have just named some people as a key managerial persons, those who will be responsible for each and everything. Okay, so these people were also facing problems. Okay, now what change this particular law has done to the conduct or to the management of the company is that each and every person whosoever has been, means previously there was somebody else was in charge, or they used to throw their liabilities here and there. Now what happens with the board resolution, a persons have been made in charge of certain activities in the company, and these people can only be the key managerial persons. Okay, or anyone else who is made the in charge will also be held to be a key managerial person. Okay, so that's why this has enabled the companies also to clearly specify, because previously there was delusions regarding that who will be held responsible and who has actually been involved in all this. So this is something which has substantially made the companies responsible of making one person responsible of one thing clearly, and the resolution of the board meeting must be said like that, means it should give a proof of that who was held responsible for certain activities, so that the law can catch hold of that person and make him responsible and ask him that what to what extent he is involved in it, either because sometimes what happens, the internal people of the organization or the company gets involved in all these things and make these things happen in such a way that they just take their own personal benefits out of it, and the entire you can say the shareholders or the companies are at well, they used to discount all these people for the benefit of themselves. Okay, so this is something which is more crucial, which has happened in the case of Satyam also, and in the case of Vijay Mallya too. Okay, this Kingfishers Limited case. So people have actually taken the benefit of you know having the, you can say, the custody of, or having the charge of certain things, and they have actually taken benefit for their own personal use at the cost of the companies and its other stakeholders. So that has to be stopped. Any other discussion you want to have? Sarvansh Sinha, what you want to say about it? Sarvansh Sinha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is officer in default, Sarvansh?
Sir, sir, officer is a person who is liable to do some work with an authority, and default is like he has mistaken or failure to that to
Default is,
achieve.
that is a fault. Officer in default is that who will be held responsible if anything happens with the company. Okay, officer in default is, are those people, those who can be held responsible
So he is
for.
yeah, he is held responsible for like any default he has done in a company.
He might not have done any default, but he may have been negligent to, overlook the default happening in the company. So for his negligence, for his you can say means his carelessness or something else has actually, made the company in soups, or you have put the companies in soups, and all the other stakeholders would be affected by it.
So,
But
if you want, can you give a case law? Can you explain a case law for this topic, like the officer in
I
default?
have already
You
given
in
two
real
case
life.
laws, Jamima. Two case laws I've already, and these are the famous case laws. Now, what happened in case of this Satyam? There, the auditors were also told not to report, and the person that Raju of the who was the CEO of the company, who was the, you can say, the maximum shareholder of the company, he actually kept on doing the, overlooking or even showcasing the company's position in a wrong manner in front of the public. And because of that, for 7 years he was able to manage the prices very high, the stock prices very high in the market. And people, they, in the good faith, all the shareholders, they kept on investing their money, just their hard earned money at the name of Satyam, because they consider Satyam to be a really Satyam means truthful company. And what happened, the bubble bursted out, and all was there in front of everyone, because the auditors were held responsible. And who were the auditors? The PwC, who was in the top five, they were there as auditors, and they were banned for 5 years to do any audit in India. So that was a big, you can say, setback, not only to the auditors fraternity, those who were actually given so much of importance as doctors in the medical science, that yes, whatsoever they are doing is correct, and they have actually given a certificate of due diligence. So really, the company has done a due diligence. So it was a big question mark on them also. Besides, the company has lost everything, and now there is no existence, and this Raju is in the jail, very well. But anyhow, what has happened is that the Indian stock market has crashed just because of this one, to some extent, and then okay, that is okay that it again revived. But this is something, and at that time, this officer in default definition was not clearly mentioned. That's what I told you. It started happening after 2013 itself, and the remaining cases which you will be discussing, that will give a fair outlook of this, right? So you may continue, Jamima. I hope you understood, Jamima, what I have just now explained.
Yeah, it was very clear.
And the similar thing happened in case of this Kingfisher also.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fine. So go ahead, Jamima. Very good.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I would like to show like present two case laws in which SS Junjunwala versus State, where the company, the manager had been issuing notices to the company members regarding the rules which they had need not be followed in the normal circumstances. But he was kind of like misusing his power, as Sir said earlier, and the case was filed in the court against the manager for such mismanagement. But the court didn't declare him liable for such mismanagement. And in the Nanjundia versus Maharashtra case, ROC Maharashtra case, it was that the few directors who were liable for the meetings when they never attended, the court gave them relief for the directors by not declaring them liable, as they never had the knowledge of what's going on in the proceedings. But when Sir was teaching about the meetings and the quorum and the minutes and all, we all kind of were perplexed. Why are they doing such a crucial process, like a process where they have to record each and every minute? In such cases like that of Nanjundia versus ROC Maharashtra and all, we can see the relevance of minutes and each person who has attended and everything can be seen. So they can have a clearer idea of each and every proceedings within a company. So I hope me and my group could give you a brief idea about officer in default, and thank you for the time, sir. Sir?
Yes, Jamima, you can discuss it with the other students in the class. Call them up. Yes, Shreya.
As a conclusion, I like to say something, sir.
Yeah, before that, you can have some discussion of 2-3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I would like to ask someone, what are the two things that should be clearly mentioned when there is a complaint being filed? Does anyone, Saurabh, can you answer? There are two things that should be specifically mentioned when a complaint is being filed against a director. Any volunteers?
The charge, the allegation should be clear. The first thing might be that allegation, what charge or allegation you're putting on the director, that should be clear.
Yeah.
They should have.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you were just a bit not clear. Yeah, continue. Hello.
And the second would be the director should be it should be specified that which
Saurabh, please repeat your question. There is some disturbance, I think, from my end or so. Not able to hear you properly. So, yes, can you repeat? Yeah.
So according to the two things which I think that which should be made clear would be the first charge, what you are put up in the director, and on which director it has been put up. It should have been dig it out by whom this fault has been made.
Yeah.
Yes, Jamima, may I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Saurabh, because the resolution of the company's meeting should be passed in such a way that it should hold someone responsible for the important task in which there is a suspicion of having a default. Okay, so that that particular person, if held responsible, I think will this type of fault and defaults will not happen. Right. So you are very clear. that and there is no need to dig it out. Why? Because when the person is clearly held responsible through the meetings, then we can means the law can have a catch hold of him. Is that okay, Saurabh? Saurabh, is it okay?
Yes, yes, sir. So I was just answering what I feel was the answer of that.
I thought you were asking something. Fine,
No,
fine.
sir, I think they mentioned my name, that's why I answered that.
Great, great. So, Jamima and Shreya, you can conclude now.
Yeah, Shreya.
Yes, sir. The conclusion of this presentation will be the drafters of the 2013 Act have taken great consideration of the demand to widen the meaning of this term, officer in default. Even before the coming of this act, I think the amendment of 1988 has dropped the requirement of intention from the clause of officers in default, which was necessary at that time. And why it was necessary is that it clearly states whether the director is at fault or not. So the legislators have given considerable importance to company law, and without much politicization of the issue of whether to come up with a completely new act or not, has come up with a Better Companies Act. So specifically talking about widened scope of the officer in default, it can be said that it has been done to increase transparency and accountability in the system of a company. So this is all from our team, and thank you for your time. Thank you, sir, for giving such an opportunity, sir.
Thank you.
And
And
if
it was really a very good presentation, and we had a very posh discussion about this. So this has set a benchmark now for every one of you, all of you. And why I did it intentionally with Shreya, because she is a CR of the class, and she should take the responsibility and set a benchmark for everyone else, so that this is what is needed. Now, further, my expectation from all of you have also increased, and you have already seen, because this is for the first time the presentation has happened online in our class itself, and now this is something which is a minimum requirement now. So whatever you can do, you can just put a higher benchmark on this, have a good discussion. Let us see how do you engage the class in a better way, and that too being offline. Okay, because this is a new normal now. We even do not know that up till when this pandemic will go on. So we should learn something out of this, and have a positivity in us, just in order to do something good and something better. How we understand and how we make others understand, that is one of the most important thing which we have learned today. Okay, so with this, I would like to thank Shreya and her group being the first presenter, and that too at such a short notice, that and you have made a very good presentation in the class itself. And here we end up our one topic of this officer in default, which by default is one of the very important topics which we had. Okay, so there are small nitty-gritties which have been made clear out of this. You will be having one quiz also. Okay, let us see when it can happen. Actually, I am also struck. You might be knowing, and let me just come out of it, and we'll definitely get back to you for your for the quiz itself. So Shreya, I would like to just ask you just to share this presentation to everyone in the class, and it can be better if you can put it over there on our what you call is
Teams,
the
sir.
Teams folder. Okay. So that
Okay,
it
sir.
can
Yes,
be
sir.
at the repository. Okay, so wishing all of you a very good luck, and let me take the attendance and we will depart. So Astha Khandelwal, Abhigyan Gupta, Aditya, Ankit, Anshul, Arpan, Ashutosh, Ayush Bothra, Ishpreet Singh, Janvi Singh, Karan Agarwal, Kaushal Agarwal, Meghna Dhuria, Naman Jain, Naman Jalan, Naveen Chandlani, Navya Singh, Neha Singh Rathore, Preetam Milan, Priyanshi Sharma, Raghav Dubey, Sambhav Garg, Sanya, Sarvan Sinha, Saurabh Yadav, Shahid Chauhan, Shara Khan, Tushar Khandelwal, Vatsal Rastogi, Yash Chaudhary, and Yash Vardhan Tiwari. So, wishing you all the best, and have a nice day. to all of you, and let me just conclude it. Thank you to all. Bye.
Yes, sir.